Hello, listener. It's Producer Maze here to talk to you about Lola blankets. Now, let me tell you, I've had a lot of blankets in my time, but the softest, most luxurious, beautiful blanket I've ever had comes from Lola blankets. It's the world's #1 blanket, crafted with ultra soft luxury vegan faux fur. It's machine washable. It's double hemmed for durability. It doesn't pill. It doesn't shed. Even after repeated washes, this thing is immaculate. And it comes in a variety of colors and patterns, guaranteed to find one that you will fall in love with. And you know me, I'm 6'6". It's tough to find a blanket that I can really stretch out in. And Lola blankets are huge. I'm covered from head to toe. I can even wear it like a cape. If I want to feel like Dracula, throw that Lola blanket over my shoulders, strut around the house. And for a limited time, our listeners are getting a huge 35% off their entire order at lolablankets.com by using code DINGS at checkout. Just head to lolablankets.com and use code DINGS, D-I-N-G-S, for 35% off. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support Cinephobe and tell them we sent you. Wrap yourself in luxury with Lola blankets.
All right, remember, the machine knows if you're lying. First statement, Carvana will give you a real offer on your car all online.
False.
True, actually. You can sell your car in minutes.
False? That's gotta be...
True again. Carvana will pick up your car from your door, or you can drop it off at one of their car vending machines.
Sounds too good to be true, so true.
Finally caught on. Nice job. Honesty isn't just their policy, it's their entire model. Sell your car today, too.
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Look at the red light.
You don't have to look.
Roxanne. Wait. The season's going to start here in like 6 days. Everyone's highly anticipating the NBA on NBC. We got Shaq and Barkley on ESPN. Mm-hmm. We've got Cooper Flag coming.
Playing point guard.
I feel like that's all the biggest news, right? We're all really excited about that.
No, I got the biggest news of the season thus far. The Sixers announced Monday night that they're bringing back hip-hop. The trampoline dunking rabbit mascot.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm going to edit in you taking a bigger pause between hip-hop and trampoline dunking rabbit.
The Sixers are going to, quote, pay tribute to hip-hop at their November 8th game versus the Raptors, and, quote, specific game dates and activations with hip-hop will be announced throughout the season. Hip-hop will team up with current mascot Franklin the dog.
Yeah.
A team up.
Hip-hop and Franklin.
A mascot team up.
Getting the band back together.
Wow, this is a new band.
Now, enlighten me, Amin. When's the last time we saw hip-hop?
2011.
Wow.
2011 was the last time we saw him.
That's a long hiatus for hip-hop.
It's a long hiatus. Hip-hop left, I want to say... No, it was after Iverson. Iverson left in 2008, I want to say.
To the Nuggets.
I feel like Philly was trying to distance itself from Allen Iverson, so having a trampoline dunking mascot who's a rabbit who wears a do-rag and sunglasses.
Named hip-hop.
It felt off-brand at that point from where they wanted to be. But he's back now.
But now it's back.
I want to say, who is the guy on the team?
Who brought hip-hop back?
Yeah. It's not Embiid. It's not Paul George. Maxey?
It's Kyle Lowry? It's Philly's own?
Kyle Lowry, who is going to part-time doing TV? You see this?
I think he's the marketing executive now. Not only a TV executive, but also a marketing executive. Why not?
Look, I'm trying to connect the dots here. I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on with Kyle Lowry, right?
Yeah.
What's happening? This is like 1 foot out the door, one ass cheek out the door.
That's a lot of ass cheek out the door.
Yeah.
Hey, if hip-hop's rump is a little large...
Oh, you got Kyle Lowry in the rabbit mascot suit.
I'm just saying, have we seen hip-hop and Kyle Lowry in the same room before?
I just have never seen hip-hop waddle. Waddle its way to the trampoline.
I'm keeping my third eye open on the two cheeks on hip-hop. That's what I'm doing.
Do you think this was part of Quentin Grimes' qualifying offer, is bring hip-hop back?
You got to bring hip-hop back?
And I'll sign the QO?
Oh.
How long before hip-hop is a guest on Podcast P, though?
You're asking that question. I'm asking how long before hip-hop is hurt. because everybody in Philly gets hurt.
Oh, man.
I think the most classic one, and apologies if this was like a real injury, but the Nuggets mascot that passed out while it was being descended from the ceiling.
That wasn't an injury, but yeah, that was an altitude situation.
Yeah, that shit is all marketing. I debunked this. I went out there.
Wow.
I did the research. I did my own research.
Third eye?
2 eyes. Didn't even need a third eye.
Wow.
All I needed was an NBA Finals game in Denver. I went and I ran the stairs. That was nothing. I didn't pass out. Nothing untoward. The only thing that happened to me in Denver that made me think maybe there's something to this altitude. Because that's the other thing they said, hey, you got to be careful when you're drinking out here.
Yeah.
Because of the altitude. Bullshit.
But you don't really drink, so you don't have to worry about that.
That's all bullshit. I'll tell you the one thing that impacted me far beyond anywhere else in my life it's ever happened. I took one hit of one joint, and it was instantly, I'm talking about immediately, before I had even relinquished said joint, higher than I've ever been in my entire life.
I mean, literally, you were higher than you've been in your life.
Dude.
And you were probably lacking oxygen. Yeah?
I blinked. I saw volcanoes erupt and dinosaurs and jungles and earthquakes and asteroids coming and hitting Earth. It was incredible. The disaster movie that happened in my brain in the span of a blink like that was mind-blowing.
Sure, it was weed. Yeah?
Yes, yeah, because everyone else was fine.
Damn, Amin. I didn't know you'd like to get wet.
My assignment. Uncover why the association inspires more conspiracy theories in volume and salience than any other U.S. sport.
You've heard of the Illuminati.
The truth is out there, but so are lies.
Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them.
The NBA has always been controlled by about 8 people.
Denial is the most predictable of all human responses.
If you're only using 10% of your brain, you don't even know that you're using 10% of your brain.
The NBA Illuminati.
If coincidences are just coincidences, why do they feel so contrived?
The Illuminati.
But you start to follow the money, and you don't know where the f*** it's going to take you.
It is unspoken. They have influence among other players.
The NBA Illuminati.
I don't have time for your convenient ignorance.
Maybe I'm a conspiracist now as well.
That's all it took. Oh, we got books, we got schools. You saw a video on YouTube.
My eyes, sir. I've never used them before.
We are the Basketball Illuminati.
This is Basketball Illuminati. I am Tom Haberstroh, and as always, I am joined by the 5-star Illuminati generals. Amin Elhassan, welcome back, and producer Anthony Mays. Amin, well-rested?
Not.
Hopefully not going to Denver and smoking the kush there?
Not well-rested. I missed last week because I took my kids to Disneyland, and as a result, have 2 severely strained calves and incredible back pain. And I'm worried at every moment that I'm going to rupture my Achilles.
Okay.
But other than that, yeah, I'm well rested, sure.
So you're in the best shape of your life.
And you're performing as Hip Hop the Rabbit coming up next week.
Start waddling.
Coming in, played hurt.
Yeah.
Also in the best shape of his life is Victor Wembanyama. We're going to talk all things Wemby and the Spurs. Coming up, our truth teller, Michael C. Wright, our friend from ESPN back in the day. No stranger to this program and its iteration of this here Basketball Illuminati. Can't wait to talk to ESPN's Michael C. Wright. Mike C. going to join us to talk about his latest feature on Victor Wembanyama's summer. Going to see The Dream and a Shaolin Temple and Costa Rica and Tokyo.
And lots of chess.
An amazing soccer goal that I think was like item F on the things that he did this summer that was really interesting. We're going to talk to Mike C. Wright about all that and the Spurs later in the program. But first,
you are listening to The Agenda with Amin Elhassan and Tom Haberstroh.
Did you guys have your alarms set for 5 a.m. Eastern so we could watch the new batch of Pablo Torre Finds Out Mark Cuban's return in studio for the first time?
Is that when it dropped? At 5 a.m. Eastern? I started listening probably at 5:30 a.m. Pacific time. I woke up, I saw the text from Anthony Mays, and I said, oh, okay. Got on Spotify and hit that 1.5x and burn through it in the morning.
You didn't get ChatGPT to summarize it for you, I mean?
No. Okay, I was talking about this with Maze before you hopped on the call, Tom. I thought Mark Cuban was making a joke at the beginning of the episode.
You wrote it down in your diary. Mark Cuban made a very funny joke at the beginning of the podcast.
ChatGPT.
I laughed, yes.
And then later in the podcast, I won't even say he confesses. He just says, matter of fact, yeah, you use some AI.
Deep research.
To summarize. He never listened to this shit, which makes sense why he says things like, well, why did you ever bring this up? And Pablo's like, I brought that up in the first episode. If you never sat down and listened, if you were relying on AI to clip notes, that's what we're doing here? We're doing Pablo Torre Finds Out for Dummies?
Well, I do this. I will admit.
Yeah?
I go on fantasy football podcasts, look at the transcript, and do a Control F to find my player that they're going to talk about. And in the transcript.
That's different.
That's using ChatGPT or transcripts as a tool, Tom.
Yes. But what he's doing is something entirely different.
He's replacing the act of gaining the knowledge.
He uses deep research to summarize, and then he also uses ChatGPT to write those marathon posts.
To write his tweets?
Which he called articles.
It kind of falls into this theme that I got by listening, and you should listen. Pablo Torre Finds Out on YouTube and on podcasts. It's like an hour-and-a-half interview somewhere in there.
Oh, yeah.
It struck me how billionaires operate in this world where they get all the upside and none of the downside. Oh, I did something wrong? Well, was the president in on that deal? Was the president? Yeah? Well, then it was the president's fault.
Dude.
And every time that Pablo had him cornered, Mark said, oh, well, you know, someone else could have been done that. Do you know for a fact? And every time he made excuses for Steve Ballmer. And the point in the pod where I just threw up my hands and I knew as soon as it happened, I was like, Amin must have done the same exact thing. Pablo at some point goes, I'm just holding adults accountable for their actions. And I was like, that's all we're doing here is treating Steve Ballmer like an adult.
Right.
Who has his own autonomy and makes his own decisions. And yet every time they have an out, it's like, oh, I'm a billionaire. I have all this insight and acumen, but someone else is to blame when it doesn't go my way.
This is the takeaway I had. It's related to yours, but it's a little different. If you haven't listened to it, again, I urge you to go listen to it. And I also warn you, it is very dense because Mark Cuban is a yapper. He talks and he talks and he talks. And if you're trying to make a point, he will interrupt the point because of one word or one thing that you said there, and then make a tangent out of that so that you never get to the actual destination of the original point. And I told Maze earlier, I said, I see how it happens now, where if you're a good enough talker, and Mark Cuban is an excellent talker, and you are also incredibly wealthy, a quote-unquote self-made billionaire, there's an aura that comes along. This guy's talking, but it's not just Amin or Tom talking. This is a billionaire. He made billions of dollars, and he's a high roller, and he operates in this world that, quite frankly, most of us are not familiar with. I don't know what it's like to have $1 billion. I don't know what it's like to have money, throw it away, not know even where it went, right? Combine those two things, and it's easy to see how Mark Cuban wins most arguments, probably, because he sounds convincing, and you know his resume. Oh, maybe he knows something I don't know. Except in this case, the person he's arguing, it's the opposite. He knows things that Mark Cuban doesn't know. Mark Cuban doesn't know because, obviously, Pablo, what he's reported is not the entirety of what he has.
Yes.
He still has to vet things, which I found hilarious when Mark Cuban at one point said to him, where has it been reported that XYZ? And I'm like, Mark, you're looking at the guy who's doing the reporting. Mm-hmm. We're not doing the regular thing where we all read the same ESPN article or the same athletic article, and now we're coming to our conclusions.
He's handing him the primary documents.
Yeah, you're looking at the person who's doing that. Like, if it was reported, guess who you'd hear it from? Me, that's who. So that's one. But two is, Mark Cuban doesn't know because he's using AI to summarize shit. He doesn't even know what's been reported. He knows what deep research has told him has been reported. It was so mind-boggling. But I think a lot about Dan Le Batard says, oh, Dominique Foxworth said to me that he was really intimidated when he was in the NFLPA until he sat down in the boardroom for the collective bargaining agreement negotiations, and he realized these guys aren't geniuses. They're just rich because they got lucky or whatever. And I feel like Dan oversimplifies that because, yes, they aren't geniuses. But again, the combination of incredible wealth and a familiarity with the terrain we're speaking of gives you an immense leg up in conversations with people who aren't of that place, if you know how to talk. If you're just a dumbass, I'm not going to name names, but if you're a certain other owner, maybe you just sit this one out. But if you're good at this, which Mark Cuban really is, and by way of example, I'm in a group chat with my buddies, and they're like, yeah, Mark Cuban told him. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about?
I know. Everyone's so entrenched, dude. It's so crazy.
Did you listen to this dude not answer a question?
So there are three things to your point that he didn't answer the question. Pablo clearly came in and was like, I am going to make sure Mark Cuban comes up with a rational explanation for this item. Number one, why was it never announced?
And that led to a 30-minute digression that circled and circled and circled and went all over the place.
It started with this, which is a theme he kept going back to. Have you ever done a marketing deal?
Yo.
Pablo is not a college graduate, a new college graduate, excuse me. Of course he's a college graduate.
No, that's Zach Harper. That's our other friend.
Yeah, there you go. That's our executive producer. It's not like he just got out of college, and he's not a random guy on Twitter. Oh, Pablo's never done a marketing deal. Oh, really? They don't want to step on the deal? Of course.
Yeah.
Everyone knows this. And the question Pablo hits him with is, how long is that zone of time?
He's like, wait, so like March, April, and he keeps listing
counting the months.
Not 5, not 6, not 7.
Waiting for Mark to be like, no, it takes at least 6 months, at least a year, whatever it is. But Mark never answers.
Never answers.
He pivots to, they change the business.
They didn't want to step on the toes of the Boston Red Sox in a totally different sport.
Yeah.
He's right in that, I won't call it exclusivity, but there is a zone of time where it's like, let's make it all about the Red Sox. Let's make this a big deal. And when that starts to die down, and ironically, again, this is the part where Pablo is very kind and benevolent, in which I would have done this to Mark. I said, Mark, oh, you mean like how I didn't drop everything in one episode? You let it live, and then when it starts to die down, you drop another one after that?
Yeah.
Oh, you think it's kind of similar, Mark Cuban?
Yeah.
It was insane. It was just like when Mark Cuban said, these guys are scam artists and da-da-da, blah, blah, blah. This is an original back and forth they had. And then Pablo asked, well, did they reach out to you? And he's like, yeah, they sent me an email. And I knew immediately it was a scam. You just proved the point.
Well,
you just proved the point.
I mean, to be fair, deep research told them it was a scam. And maybe Ballmer didn't have access to that.
Second point that he made that Cuban didn't have an answer for was explain the Dennis Wong payment.
No, because he loves his daughter was Mark's strongest argument. That was his strongest argument.
It's a bridge loan, but it's not a loan. It's an investment. And he was like, you're right.
Again, this is because Mark is used to arguing with people who don't have the information. This is going to sound really weird here. I talk about this a lot with my kids. I have a philosophy in life. It's called the information gap. You maintain the information gap. When you are interacting with anyone, you have to know where the information gap is and who has leverage over it. And your mission is to close that gap. If you don't have the leverage, expand it if you do. I truly believe this to the point where I'm teaching my kids about this. Mark Cuban, whether he knows it or not, is someone who is used to leveraging the information gap. Usually, you're in a place where it's like, oh, the gap is in my favor or the gap, I'm at a deficit. But you recognize the situation. Mark Cuban is in that type of situation where he thinks it's in his favor, but he's in a massive information deficit. And so, why would he do this? Oh, maybe it's a bridge loan. And Pablo goes, wait a second. I got the paperwork right here. It's an investment. And that's where it all falls apart. But again, Mark Cuban is operating like he's going head to head with a regular internet rando, which is maybe why friends of mine who are regular internet randos are like, oh, he got him. Because this is all the arguments that would work on them, as opposed to stepping back and realizing, wait a second, this guy's got a little bit more than the average internet rando.
It feels to me like the Jordan-LeBron debate. If you are already on one side, how many people are really going to listen and be convinced now at the 6th episode, you know what?
Tom, that's every single hot topic in the world.
It is. If you were on Cuban's side or Team Ballmer, like Mark Cuban is the president of Team Ballmer.
Where's the smoking gun? Where's the smoking gun? Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. You're making conjecture.
I don't want to reveal too much on the episode because you should watch the whole thing because there's a little bit of a reveal at the end about Pablo discovers something, a Texas story. But this story is still going. There's still things that Pablo is clearly reporting on. And I think people need to understand that Pablo is doing an amazing job of not revealing everything all at once and still reporting. And I think Mark Cuban, as he has done before, gives away a tell that Pablo might be able to leverage or use at a later episode on tape.
I want to emphasize this because a lot of people are like, it's corny that Pablo's just, he's not holding stuff back simply for the theater of extending this, right? Not like how some TV shows have filler episodes. Let's get to 10 episodes so that we can reveal this in episode 9.
He's not doing the Netflix last 5 minutes of the episode cliffhanger to make you immediately play the next one.
Part of the release is because they are actively still reporting. And by actively still reporting, I mean still talking to sources, still gathering documents, still trying to find proofs for things that might be suspected. And that's the big thing here is that every part of this is so thoroughly vetted. It's not like an internet rando. Oh, I heard this, and then I'm going to do a podcast about it. I know that's what you all think podcasts are. But I promise you, information, journalistically integrity-filled information comes in a certain process. It's not just I heard it and I say it. And that's what Pablo's doing. And so every time he drops an episode, I'm sorry, there's not conjecture with that. And Mark Cuban accused him of trying to assassinate Steve Ballmer's character. Oof. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. This stuff looks bizarre. Article 13 explicitly says circumstantial evidence that doesn't rationally make sense. So an example, Tom, is if you walked in the room and you saw Anthony Mays dead from a gunshot wound.
God damn it.
And a gun in my hand.
I knew it.
And I told you that's not what happened. What happened was he shot himself and then he slipped on a wet spot.
Slander.
The gun flew up in the air and I instinctively caught it, and that's when you walked in. That might actually be what happened. Let's just assume that's exactly what happened.
Character assassination and real assassination.
Tom, when you walk in and you see that, does that rationally make sense? And that's all I'm saying here. None of these explanations that the Clippers have made, that Mark Cuban has made, none of them rationally make sense. And this isn't a court of law. This isn't reasonable doubt. This is the letter of the NBA law. It said, Article 13, does this rationally make sense? And I defy anyone to tell me, oh, yeah, that makes a lot more sense than, oh, shit, they're paying someone under the table.
I was conned. Yeah. I was conned.
Sound like Biff's grandson in Back to the Future 2. I was framed.
Hate that I got killed in Amin's analogy there. That sucked.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Miz, can you do a supercut of the no.
No, I can't.
No.
I texted you guys. This would be a nightmare to edit. This is my nightmare. Mark Cuban interrupting every 5 seconds. Crosstalk. That's what I try to eliminate in podcasts. Mark Cuban is crosstalk incarnate. It was a disaster.
No. See, this is where you're wrong. This is where you're wrong. No, see.
Everything you got.
Mike C. Wright coming up.
Hello, listener. It's producer Mays here to talk to you about Kindred. Now, close your eyes like Owen Wilson during a job interview and imagine a way to travel that feels personal, comfortable, and connected without the price tags and the sterile feelings of hotels or short-term rentals. Now open your eyes and stop using your imagination because Kindred has made it very real. That's exactly what they do. Kindred is a members-only home swapping network. It's not a hotel. It's not a short-term rental. It's a smarter way to travel where each stay feels like home. Here's how it works. With Kindred, your home is your ticket. You earn credits by hosting fellow Kindred members, and then you use those credits to stay in over 220,000 homes in more than 100 cities worldwide. There are no hotel costs or rental fees, just the credits that you've earned. Every stay comes with white glove service, 24/7 trip support, and $100,000 in host protection. Make it easier for you to travel and enjoy yourself and not worry about details. I've used Kindred and I found an amazing home for a weekend getaway in an idyllic location with amazing views and great ambiance. It had everything I needed. And the best part was, it cost me $0. So apply now at livekindred.com and use code DINGS to join for free. Plus, you'll earn 5 nights of travel credit just for signing up. That's right, that's 5 whole nights for free at livekindred, KINDRED.com, code DINGS, DINGS, livekindred.com, code DINGS. Hello, listener. It's Producer Maze here to talk to you about Quince and their cookware. Cooler nights mean cozy meals at home, and Quince's cookware has made fall cooking so much more enjoyable. Their pieces deliver the quality and performance of luxury brands, but at a price that makes sense. And they look gorgeous on the stovetop, too. No matter what item you need to complete your kitchen, Quince has you covered. With 5-ply stainless steel pots and pans, nonstick skillets, chef-quality knives, and even ceramic bakeware, which is perfect for cozy casseroles or Sunday roasts. And when you look at these prices, you might think, how is Quince doing this? How do they deliver high-quality items similar to high-end brands that are half the price? Well, let me tell you, they partner directly with ethical top-tier factories to cut out the middlemen and pass the savings on to you. And it's not just cookware. I got myself some bath sheets. That's right. When you're a tall man, you have to use bath sheets, not bath towels from Quince. It's like drying off with the cloud. It's incredible. Upgrade your kitchen for cozy fall meals with premium cookware from Quince. Go to quince.com/dings for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dings, DINGS, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dings.
Listener, listen up. This is important, okay? I'm going to try to save you some money here. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. You may think like, oh, that's bad. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Here's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month. You heard that correctly. $15 per month. Ditch overpriced wireless and the jaw-dropping monthly bills. And of course, there are all these hidden fees and stuff, but at Mint Mobile, plans start at $15 per month. All the plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text. You're not doing like weekend and nighttime minutes or anything like that. And it's delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone. Don't have to get a new phone. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. I switched months ago. People have asked, did you actually switch? Yes, I actually switched months ago, and I don't know what to do with all this extra money. I've cheated the system here. I've rigged something. This is an Ocean's 11 situation where I'm stealing wireless from Mint. That's how good a deal it is. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/dings. That's DINGS. That's mintmobile.com/dings. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
You all think I'm late. Well, I'm not late. And I'm going to stay right here and fight for this lost cause, even if this room gets filled with lies like these. And the tailors and all their armies come marching into this place. Somebody will listen to me.
There's no better way to overpower a trickle of doubt than with a flood of naked truth.
But the complexity and the gray lie not in the truth, but what you do with the truth once you have it.
What is true and right is true and right for all.
You and I both know that that's just not the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Too messy. Keeps them up nights.
I'm here because in the end, the truth is worth the risk.
Speak a little truth and people lose their minds.
I'm a grown man, you can tell me the truth.
Why is it people who want the truth never believe it when they hear it?
So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something really outrageous. I'm going to tell the truth.
Mike, I'm just going to let you know now that I am a Wemby truther. Okay.
Okay.
I firmly believe that he didn't grow 2 inches this summer. I think he's always been 7'5", and maybe he did get taller, but everyone was calling him 7'3" last year. I was like, open your eyes. Dude's like 7'7". What is going on here? Why are we not recognizing the fact that he's way taller than listed? And people are, oh, he's 2 inches taller now. He's 7'5". Bro, he was 7'5" like 2 years ago. I'm convinced.
I'm hoping that the Spurs brass, the Spurs people are listening to this podcast, because I have long told them, y'all lying, man. So the day before media day, I'm talking to somebody in the organization, and they're like, I promise we're going to give you the truth. We're going to give you the truth. I'm like, y'all been lying since he been here. And I said, so what y'all going to say, he's 7'4" tomorrow? I literally said this. Y'all going to say he's 7'4" tomorrow? And that's going to be a lie too. They think it's funny. I think it's funny, but it's just like, just tell us the truth, man. And I don't know why there has to be a secret there.
I'll make a revelation right here. They derailed a future Pablo Torre Finds Out episode that I was supposed to be spearheading about NBA players that lie about their height. It's all about Wembanyama. I was going to do the whole thing, and we're going to get to the bottom of it using that guy on the internet that can look at things and measure them. You guys ever seen this guy on Instagram? Yeah. Mm-hmm. He uses math, basically, based on objects in the picture that are of objectively measurable, height or whatever distance. Then he will calculate how tall someone is for real. We're going to do all that shit, and they fucked it up by telling the truth.
But why would you? Well, is that the truth?
I don't think it's the truth. I mean,
you don't think he's 7'5"?
No, I think
no.
Okay, Mike's there.
No,
right, in that case, bleep out what I just said.
No. What I'm saying is, I think that they are not telling the truth there, and but I don't know why. Why would you just not say?
Well, typically,
help me understand.
It's the player, right? The player is the one who tends to downplay whatever height they are, and
KG,
which is
Durant,
KG. There's been a bunch over time. Even Tracy McGrady was one, right? Because I think Tracy's closer to 6'10" than he is the 6'8" he was listed at, right? Because I know how tall Paul Pierce is. I know how tall Steven Jackson is, and I've seen Tracy next to him, and he's taller. He's like objectively taller. So the players tend to downplay, which is, of course, very counterintuitive because most of the time we know a player doing the opposite. It's like, I'm 6'5". John Starks ain't no damn 6'5". We're damn near eye to eye. How are you 6'5", right? You're 6'5", Michael Jordan's 6'6", and yet the gulf is massive. How is that possible? But there is for certain players, and a lot of it is when your height will start to dictate what position you play, right? Because if you're this tall, so KG would say I'm 6'13", because he knew once you say 7, that means you're a center. You don't want to be a center. Durant, same thing, right? Once you say you're 6'11" or 7 foot or whatever, you don't get to be a wing anymore. They slot you as you got to be a 4 at least, maybe even a 5. So that's why. But when you're 7'5" or 7'6" or 7'7", downgraded 7, I don't know what the advantage would be for even from a player.
I'll tell you. I think if you're like Porzingis, who's 7'2" or 7'3", you can be thought of as a unicorn. But if you're 7'7", get your ass into the paint and you're just going to be George Mirasan. But the irony is Manute Bol he slung 3-pointers more than anybody.
Yeah.
And he was 7'7" or 7'8" or whatever you want to call it.
But that was also Manute Bol playing for Don Nelson.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so if he have a mad scientist head coach at the time, they probably would have stuck his ass in the paint too.
All right, so the transformation that the headline says inside Victor Wembanyama's summer of transformation. Mike, I know we don't, as journalists, we don't write our headlines.
No.
But your argument is not that he transformed his height, like he didn't get taller. He got smarter or he got stronger. So he went to Hakeem's, post-game dream school. He also went to a Shaolin temple. He went to Tokyo. He went to Costa Rica. And you talked to Hakeem. What is the fulcrum of his transformation that you saw when you're reporting this story for ESPN.com, Mike? What is the biggest thing that you saw him transform?
I would say for sure his mentality, just from the standpoint of I have to take every moment and make the most of it. Like, and we all do it. We take different things for granted or whatever. And just because of that DVT that he was diagnosed with, that's not only is it career threatening, it's life threatening. So he was in a situation where he really sort of had to contemplate and think hard about, okay, how can I make the most out of all the experiences that I have? And, Vic is in a different position than us. I mean, like, I can't just call Hakeem Olajuwon and say, hey, man, I want to come work out with you a couple of days. So he used the access that he has to make the most of it. And I think that was, like, you could see it because, like, let me explain how some of this stuff works. That, like, when you're around Victor, like in the summer, there were times where we had sort of access to him, but you couldn't ask him basketball questions. You had to ask him about whatever was going on at that time. He went to go see the flood victims out in hill country of Texas. Well, we can't ask him, hey, man, did you get taller? No, you got to ask him about, that stuff. Or when he does the fan tryouts or whatever, you got to ask him about that. But, I guess as a journalist, I'm watching closely, like, okay, what is he doing here? And I'll tell you, he's an interesting kind of dude, man. Like, there were times, like, for instance, and I don't know if it got in the story or not, because, by the end of the editing process, you're like, I don't even want to look at it anymore. But anyway, there was a time when he visited the flood victims in hill country. Like, so all the kids ran out on the court and everything. And Vic sort of just had the presence of mind to, like, go run and grab a team photographer and then arrange everybody for a shot, because it was like a moment that those kids would remember the rest of their lives. And, I think that just what he went through with that diagnosis, it made him sort of kind of pay more attention to all the small things in life. And I think that that's what led him on that journey.
So there's a part of Vic that comes across almost like Ned Flanders. Like, no matter what, this guy always has a silver lining, and he's always going to, like, the best of all of us, the best attitude that any of us can have. He has it at all times. And so when I read through it and how this was a scary experience for him, the DVT, and coming back and making the most out of life and all this stuff, but it all feels like it's still in the same, pardon the pun, vein of what he was before, just a little heightened. Is there any example you could think of something where it's like, man, I used to be a real piece of shit when it came to this, and this experience made me leave that alone? Whether it was like eating Cheetos or being a dick to waiters, or whatever it is. What's something where it's like,
he's too good to be true? Amin,
like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
So he was too good to be true before the DVT, and now after it's like he's supposed to be even better than to be true. There has to be something, even if it's in the past, that he's kind of like learned from and gotten better at. And maybe it's that. Maybe even if it was like, I was too nice, now I need to be a killer. Is there something like that?
Honestly, I don't know. But let me take you back to, like, the fan tryout thing.
Mm-hmm.
Man, like, there's fans just coming in all morning. And I keep looking back behind the curtain or whatever, like, damn, are there more? Because I'm ready to go. At this point, I'm ready to go. Like, and I'm telling you, man, every fan that came in and did their little tryout, Vic's got like a notepad in his hand, like a little Spurs notepad. He's taking notes. He's asking every one of those people questions. And what I didn't get to put into the story, because I didn't realize this until recently, bro, this dude went back and watched film.
He watched that.
Yes, he watched the tape of the whole tryout. And the Spurs people are like, hey, man, you're doing too much here, man. Like, this is too much. But he went back and watched tape of it before he made his final picks of, who would be in that fan section. So I don't know if this is different than maybe he would have handled things in the past. But I mean, I'm with you. Like, as a journalist, you're skeptical. You're like, this is too good to be true.
Mike, you've been around a long time, not only covering the Spurs and covering the NBA, but also in the NFL. Have you ever encountered an athlete like this? The most positive of positive people I could think of is Grant Hill. To me, Grant Hill is like, Grant Hill makes me feel bad about how I am. Like, damn, man, like, if this dude can be this magnanimous, this gracious, this good of a teammate, this caring, all this stuff, like, what's my excuse, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like Vic goes way beyond Grant Hill to the point where like, this can't be real. Who's an athlete that, in your experience covering multiple sports, like approaches even that level of kind of aura?
I'm going to date myself here. When I first got into the business, my first big assignment was the Dallas Cowboys. And it was the Dallas Cowboys. They were washed at that point. They were washed. It was over, but they didn't know it was over. And Deion Sanders, prime, he was that guy.
Really?
Yeah, and you would ask him questions, and he literally would be like, hey, I just came from a sermon at the such and such church. Did you guys go? Did you hear the word today? And like he's asking you, like he's giving you a pop quiz on the word or whatever the sermon was that day. It was Deion, man. And it was like at that time, like I was saying, like Jerry Jones didn't know it. I don't think they knew it, but they were washed. They were not, they had no shot at winning any more Super Bowls. But you would not have guessed that talking to Deion Sanders. And he was like that. I would say Michael Irvin was like that too. Interesting dudes. But now I was 22 years old at that time. You know what I mean? So I probably I drank the Kool-Aid probably a little more back then than I would now.
And those dudes were both vets at that point, whereas Wemby is 22 years old, 21 years old.
21, yep.
When I'm watching some of the clips from Monday night's game, where it's not just that he got stronger, it's that he knows he's stronger.
Yes.
Where he's putting his shoulder into you and you're going into the sixth row, or when they're trying to check him, Isaiah Jackson, he looked like a 6-foot guard out there against him and tried to do things against him. And even when he caught Wemby kind of off-footed, he kind of juked him on the perimeter.
He still gave him a little when he got back. Yeah.
When he got back, and then Isaiah, I don't know, I couldn't tell. Maybe did Wemby pull the chair from him? Because he went right down. Like Isaiah Jackson tried to put his shoulder into him and he went right down, and Wemby took the ball under that basket, went 94 feet, and then dunked it on the other end.
Yep.
It was just like the most ridiculous. He recovered laterally so much that he beat Isaiah Jackson to the spot. Isaiah tried to overpower him and went down like a ton of bricks. And I'm just like, what do we do with this guy? If he's that strong and knows his power, that's scary.
I think that's the biggest difference, Tom, is the confidence that you see there. Now, let me tell you this as a former college football player. Them little skinny dudes, when they hit you with a little it hurts more than when a big guy hits you. Yeah, they're bony as hell. Yeah, they bony. And it hurts. They all like them little shoulders. That's all hard. I'd rather a fat guy hit me. So here's the confidence. He's a lot more decisive. And I think some of that came from the work he did with Hakeem Olajuwon, because Hakeem was like, you don't have time to be messing around, over dribbling in the post. You one dribble, spin, make a move. And those are some of the things that he worked on. But Hakeem also said that, hey, don't think of yourself as a big guy that has guard skills. Think of yourself as a big guard. And I think that is the way Victor is playing right now. For instance, this dude said this the other night, and I was just shaking my head, really, bro? He said, I passed up some shots that I could have made with my eyes closed to get the ball to my teammate that could make the shot in his sleep. Just did you just do something there? Bro, it was like the Jedi mind trick. I'm looking at him his mentality is different.
To be clear, eyes closed is still harder than doing it in your sleep, right? Because your eyes closed, you're still awake. You're still active. You can hear it. You're asleep, you're out.
Levels.
So, okay.
I mean,
all right. Okay.
He's getting poetic as he gets older, as he's getting to the drinking age or whatever. You know what's funny? Because I like to do this with Vic, just from time to time. Hey man, what's the latest American slang term you've learned? I just like to do it. One time this was maybe his rookie year. He has this great game. And he comes back into the locker room. He's got a pair of all black Air Force Ones. The special edition with the red thing. And I can't remember who. Anyway, I'm like, Vic, I said, you know what? all black Air Force One energy is? He's like, of course. yeah, like Vic is a fun dude to like just talk to because he's just so thoughtful about everything. But yeah, he's learning American slang. And
have you taught him any?
No, because I'm from Texas.
Yeah, he got different slang.
Yeah, we do it different in Texas, so like, I can't teach him that New York stuff.
Has he come over to your place to have some of your barbecue?
I think that would be against his diet. I don't know what his diet is, but I'm sure, the Spurs will be like, no, don't go to Mike's house. And not only that, the Spurs pretty much know I'm a bad influence, so I'm the wrong guy to be hanging with.
He'll be coming back drinking bourbon and eating brisket.
Smoking cigars, all that.
Hakeem, did you have any skeptical as a reporter? Were you like, all right, we've seen athletes go down this road to Hakeem, and it's a big media PR play, but not necessarily they're going to learn something from it or take it to the season. Kind of as like a rite of passage. When LeBron went down there after losing the finals, it was a big story. Dwight Howard, etc. We go on and on with the players that came through. But talking to Hakeem, what stood out to you about those 4 sessions that you reported for ESPN, those 4 sessions that he went down there? What did he get out of it specifically? Was it more mental or was it actually like technical stuff?
No, I think it was technical stuff, and I don't think we've seen everything because one of the things that Dream was talking to me about was that Vic has this jump hook now. I haven't seen it yet, but he claims that Vic put it in his bag, over those 4 days. One of the things that Hakeem Olajuwon talked to me about was that Vic is a really quick learner. He said, like, man, like I can show him something one time and he's doing it like a pro just off my demonstration. And he sent me video like that. Like there's a video, I think, that ran with the story of Vic doing the dream shake.
Yeah.
Like, Hakeem showed it to him and then he did it like with his own little twist to it. So that was one of the things. And, you hear the rumors about how hard Vic works. And, I just think that, it's BS sometimes when coaches say this. But Dream said the same thing. He said that guy came in and was ready to work. Like, and he worked his butt off. Like, they did like 2.5 hour workouts for those 4 days. And, I had asked him, I said, so would you work with him again? He was like, hell yeah. He said, but that's a question you have to ask Vic. And apparently not too long ago, Vic said that he would like to go work with Hakeem again. So, like, one of the things that Hakeem also said was that imagine Victor's ability to make shots, but put that at the end of the moves that I taught him. And we're starting to see it right now. We're seeing it now. And so I'm of the belief that you really should not put any kind of ceiling on Victor because every year, it's been, however many years, 3 years or going on 3 years, he's advanced his game in some way. And I think that I don't want to be too crazy with this, but I think he'll be in the MVP conversation this year. He'll be in that conversation, but I'm not sure the Spurs will be good enough for him to win it.
I'm picking him for MVP again. What? I did it last year. And as like I'm gonna carve out this turf here.
You'll be right eventually if you keep picking him, right?
You and Kevin O'Connor, you guys are just trying to be
the clock early. Is right. A broken clock is right twice a day, guys.
That's true. He'll win Defensive Player of the Year. I think he'll win that this year. Defensive Player of the Year.
And if he's that polished offensively or that dominant offensively, where in the preseason he's getting to the post a lot more. He's trying to seal a lot more in the post and use some of that height and strength in ways that last year it seemed like he was trying to prove that he could shoot threes. Yeah. And he became a deep 3 shooter, I think to a fault at times where he was trying to prove something. But it also gave him a base, a foundation with which to build off of. And now if he's stronger and taller, allegedly, here's what I'm saying. I don't think he's not getting taller. I just think people were lying about how tall he was for some reason, right, Mike? Like, I think he might have actually grown 2 inches, but not from 7'3" to 7'5". I think he's like 7'5" to 7'7".
And it's so different. Like you were just asking me about football. It's so different. In football, I was 6'2". And obviously,
you're here. Yeah.
And obviously, I'm not 6'2", but it's like in football, like everybody is listed bigger than they actually are. So that's one weird thing to me about basketball.
Yeah. Are there linemen that don't want to be called 300 pounds, or like defensive ends that want to stay within a weight? Like I'd imagine in football, there might be some sensitivities around your weight, maybe not your height.
No, because bigger is better in football.
Yeah.
No, you want to be like linemen, man. Like they pride themselves on binge eating and all that kind of stuff, man. And when you're in meetings as a football player, they tell you, hey, man, after a play, don't stand anywhere near the pile because them fat linemen are dirty, and they'll hit you after the play and hurt you. Yeah, but they thrive on that reputation. I mean, back in the day, the Commanders, they were called the Hogs, man. They like that. Yeah, they like that, man.
Well, Mike, I'm curious as far as Mitch Johnson goes. Last year, obviously, he was on an interim basis filling in for Pop, even after I'm sure they knew internally Pop wasn't coming back. Now he's officially in control. It's his team. It's his job. Does anything change in his coaching overall from last year to this year? And then specifically, does anything change in terms of how they use Victor, especially considering how they said Victor's rookie year, they were like, we're just letting him do whatever. Just learn how he wants to play basketball. How has that evolved and changed now with Mitch Johnson, the official head coach?
Well, I think last year when Mitch was the interim guy, I think they were still sort of operating on a lot of Pop's principles. And, it's funny because I asked Vic about it the other day, and he seemed like he was a little offended by the question. And I just was asking the same question you're asking, basically. And that is, did you guys sort of pick up where you left off coming into this season, or is there a bunch of new stuff, with Mitch taking over as the coach? And he's like, well, we didn't just pick up where we left off. He seemed like he was offended, but there are a bunch of new installs, and I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but it'll be different. Like, they want to play fast, super fast, because they've got so many young guys that can run and they're so athletic. And, when you're that youthful, you can take advantage of opponents, be in better shape than them. And that was another point of emphasis over the offseason, is just to get in the best shape that you could as far as that, because they want to run. So that's going to look different. And I think Harrison Barnes, he told me the other day that Mitch changed sort of a lot of the processes, like with how they go about doing things. But it was a very detailed plan. Vic was telling me that. Like, it's a very detailed thing that they sort of started all the way back in the summer. And, I was talking to some people that have, kind of been with the organization for a long time. And they were telling me the difference between, when you had Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. He said, in the summer, we hardly saw anybody. Mm-hmm. He said, but when you got all these young guys, they're always in the gym. And that has been the case with this edition of the San Antonio Spurs. So, they're going to play a lot faster, and it's going to look different than it has before. But another thing is Vic has said that Mitch Johnson has really sort of worked to make sure that there were defined roles for everybody. So I don't know exactly what that means for Vic specifically, but I do know that Mitch has really worked with Vic, because, Mitch warms Vic up before the games. Mm-hmm. He's a former, he was into player development, so he still warms him up. But one of the things that Mitch has said is that just do the simple thing, man. Like, you don't have to do the spectacular behind the back or, nutmeg somebody. You don't have to do all that. You can throw throw the chest pass to somebody in the corner and get the same result. And that is something that they've really worked with Vic on, is just make the simple play.
Well, I think it's interesting. Not only is Mitch now installed as the official head coach, but also we've got these guys who are coming back from injury that I thought Dylan Harper and Steph Castle would be a little later in getting back from their various injuries, but they've already made their preseason debut and they're up and running. Mike, what is the latest update on the injury status of that backcourt? Because I did not realize that De'Aaron Fox had a hamstring injury until media day, but now it seems like the two young guys, they're ready to go.
Yeah, they definitely are ready to go. And De'Aaron, it might take a little longer. I've been told that he's tracking where he's supposed to be in his rehab. Everything is going well. But obviously, you know, like hamstrings are just, they're a different animal, man.
Was that news to you too?
Yeah, it kind of was. I mean, like I knew he was, you know, he was going to miss some preseason, but then when he came out and said, I don't think I'm going to be ready for the opener, I was like, wow. But at the same time, he's like, yeah, but I'm running 15.3 miles per hour on the treadmill. And, you know, I'm like, okay, so that means you can go. And he said that he felt like he could go, but the Spurs organization obviously is going to hold him back because they sort of always err on the side of caution. And I'll tell you, though, well, I know what you're doing here. I know I aspire to not have that conversation. But no, man, like so like, you know, like hamstrings can be finicky. Like, dude, I have dislocated fingers. I broke my ankle, torn the rotator cuff, and the most painful injury I ever had was like pulling a hamstring. And I don't know why it's so painful, but it is. Feels like I got shot with a shotgun.
Is it the biggest muscle in the body, or is that your
behind the glute?
It's pretty big, yeah. And like that, yeah, and it'll kind of roll up and turn into like this ball on the back of your leg, and like it's.
When they announced Scoot Henderson had tore his hamstring, I just
Tor's crazy.
Yeah.
We need to do a whole episode on how a 21-year-old tears his hamstring.
Just saying, I yelped in pain just for hearing about the news.
Think of the power you have to be generating to do that.
Saying.
That's power, man.
And the whatever stress, wear, and tear there's already been there.
Yeah.
Because it's like saying I'm going to tear a phone book. Like it is a dense muscle. It's not easy to tear without some sort of erosion that happened before. Mike, you mentioned Harrison Barnes earlier. I have to ask you about this, man. What was he thinking with that AI music video, man?
I have not seen it. Wait.
Oh, man. No. Nah, hold on.
I got to see it just so I can clown him about it in the locker room.
Never thought I'd star in my own music video. This tech has come a long way, inspiring more people to make music. You can craft one yourself. Just mention Producer AI and ask for a vibe.
Same hands that work the pain, same hands I fold in prayer. 12 years and I'm still learning what it means to really care. They see me on the court at night, but that ain't all I am. From Ames to San Antonio, trying to serve a bigger plan. These hands that give, these hands that live, more than buckets, more than wins. These hands that give, these hands that reach to every child that needs to live. That's the real gift.
Darrell Wright has a great singing voice.
So that's an AI voice, I assume.
It's all AI.
Jeez.
But they have these apps where you speak into it some phrases or whatever, and then the AI will make you in your voice sing the song, but it'll make it sound like you could actually sing. So I'm assuming that's what happened.
Somebody else spoke his words. They had to, because that doesn't even sound even remotely close to Harrison.
I know.
I will say this. I'm not going to make fun of that video because Harrison is a big contributor to the local community. And he just, like, and it sounds like that was the message on the song.
Yeah, it's a positive message.
It's a great positive message. We're not clowning the message.
So, yeah, but I'm definitely going to ask Harrison about that next time I see him. But
I was vibing. I thought it was great. What are you talking about, guys? You're just hating.
It was some
I'm not hating.
These hands and
if it was Tom, if it was a video of a random unknown singer singing that song, I would have been like, "Oh, that's cool." The problem is, it's supposed to be Harrison Barnes, even though the AI character, as I said, looks like Darrell Wright
or Jeff Green.
Or Jeff Green, and dribbles like I don't know what that
was. Double Stanley in the office warehouse dribbling is what that was.
Yeah, he would have got blown. Yeah, he was double dribbling through the whole video.
Like I feel like if we're gonna say how far the AI has come, we could get it a little bit better.
It's more
Did he
the,
have like a sweater and some
comment.
Tim's on?
Yeah.
That could be yours, Mike.
No.
This, you know what this is like?
Producer.ai.
This is like the Dwayne Wade statue. No one's arguing that he shouldn't have a statue. We all think he should have a statue. But it's just like, if that's what the statue looks like, maybe that's not the statue that we put up. Maybe we go back and work on it a little bit more.
Yeah,
and then come back. Yeah.
I mean, try as hard as he tried to bring you to championships, man. Like, put in a little effort with that.
Hey, Mike, we're talking about statues right now. If my proclamation is true, my prophecy is true that Victor Wembanyama is going to win MVP this year, what needs to happen, or what is within the range of possibility with this team? Not just with the players on it, but the assets that they have to go for a trade. Is there, for them to be a 50-win team, I think the line is at like 44 or something like that. How do they get to 50? What needs to happen? And are there pieces to this roster, a little hole in this roster that you think can be filled down the line?
Well, Tom, I will say that 44 is a little high for my taste. I think realistically, like 44 is if everything goes well for them. Like
a 34-win team last year, a 10-win jump.
Yeah. I know. Well, yeah, and that's something to consider because Vic only played 46 games last year. And he only played 5 games with De'Aaron Fox. So I don't know. Like, I think 44 is like the pie in the sky. Like, I think that would be if everything goes well for them. But I would not be surprised if they somehow got to 50 wins. It would not surprise me because they have not been on the floor together long enough to really develop the chemistry that they will develop by the time we hit about mid-season. And I sort of disagree with the thinking. Like, everybody's like, the Spurs are very redundant in the backcourt. Not really. Like, think about it. If you got bigs like Vic and Luke Cornett that can draw people out of the paint, and you got these guards that can get downhill and run by people like nothing. It's just easy for them. Well, you're going to make plays with your guards, or, you're going to kick out to guys like Harrison Barnes, Julian Champagnie, and they just got to make shots. So I don't think that they are redundant. I think that there's some value to having guards like that can really attack downhill and break your defense down. I'm just not sure how it all comes together yet. And obviously Vic is a big part of it. And I would say that the early returns so far, they look good. But you know how, like, when you get under duress or you're in a tight game situation, you sort of revert back to what you've already always done. Well, if he does that, then yeah, maybe 44 wins. But if he continues to play the way he's playing now, in that, like, I mean, this dude is whipping cross-court passes like it's nothing. Like, okay, if you continue to do that and show us all the things that you worked on this offseason, now I think your ceiling is higher. So I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to like hate on the Spurs because, they show a lot of promise. I think 44 is a little high, but it would not surprise me if they got to 50. But I just think that it would have to be a damn near perfect situation. Like, De'Aaron's got to get back as soon as possible. Luke Cornett, he's got to be the addition that they envision him being. Kelly Olynyk, all those guys. And, like I said, those young guards are going to have to make plays. Like Steph Castle, for instance, like he needs to improve as a 3-point shooter. And so far, what I've seen, it looks like he has improved. Okay, does that manifest itself on the court throughout the regular season? I don't know. We'll see. But if all those things happen, I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow got to 50 wins.
Yeah. He's taken 4 3-pointers every 36 minutes in the preseason.
Yeah.
Which is like less than half of what it was last year in the regular season.
He shot almost like 9 attempts a game last year.
8.8 or something like that. You talking about Vic? Yeah, something like 8.8. Yeah, like you said, Tom, it was like, that's what it felt like, that Vic was trying to prove to everybody he could shoot 3-ball. Okay, you've proven that, my man. Now, prove that you can sort of be an offensive hub. He doesn't have to be that, but if he can be an offensive hub, sort of in the vein of like an Alperen Sengun out in Houston, if he can do that with the guards that they have, I could see the Spurs making some noise in the West And it's going to be hard to make noise in the West because obviously teams like Houston are good. And while I got you guys here, let me do a shameless self-promotion. Tom, you remember back in the day we used to do the Texas Triangle?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Tim McMahon and I are bringing that back. And it will be called Howdy Partners, obviously, because, Tim got to put his fingerprints.
Texas.
Yeah, Tim got to put his fingerprints over all over everything. But yeah, because this is the first time in a while that all the Texas teams have been really interesting and, for the most part, pretty good. And so we'll do something like every week where we talk about the Texas teams.
Is it you and Tim, or is there a triangle?
Who's the third?
No, we don't have a third. And it's not I'm saying it was called Texas Triangle back in the day when we did it.
Yeah.
But now it's Howdy Partners because it's got to be Tim's. Of course, it's got to be
just
his.
two of y'all.
What would you want to call it?
Not Howdy Partners.
Tom, sounds like you owe Mike a theme song.
Yeah, I do.
Even it out,
I do.
Yeah, make it like country rap tunes.
Rap.
Yeah, make it sound like some UGK or something.
Harrison's AI. It'll smoke it to you by the end of the week.
Yeah. That's what we're going to
do.
Yeah, have me with like a sweater and some Timbs.
You got a cigar in your mouth.
Yeah, collar sticking out.
You got your smoker out. You're smoking some meat.
Drinking smoked old fashioned or something. Yeah.
Ooh. We'll make sure it looks like Heinz Ward. Right.
Or Tiger Woods. I get that. Has anybody ever told you?
Before we go, Caleb Williams and the Bears are back, right?
Oh man, let's not get started with that.
I don't know. And it's funny, I actually covered both of those teams in my life as a beat writer. I spent like a year and a half covering the Commanders with Ryan Clark, Sean Taylor, Clinton Portis. I covered those teams. And then I covered
the Eastern Motors lineup.
Covered the Bears. So that was interesting to watch last night.
What would you say is the biggest difference between covering the NFL and the NBA? Because you've done them both.
Man, and I say this as a former football player, played from the age of 6 to 23. The difference is with football players, it's this whole us against the world mentality. And like football players are afraid to speak their mind. I mean, there's a lot of groupthink. And so this is the truth. As like a journalist, when you cover the NFL, you like first the coach comes and talks to the group. But when you go in that locker room and you interview guys individually, you are going to hear some variation of what that coach just told you at the podium. In the NBA, man, it ain't no telling what you're going to hear. You know what I mean? Like those guys are not afraid to speak their mind. And I think a part of that obviously is the guaranteed contracts, but it's a different ball game as far as that goes. Like NBA players are a lot more comfortable to actually tell you what they really think. NFL players don't.
It's like Kyrie Irving. The story came out that he's progressing ahead of schedule, and he said, "Who's that? Who said that? Who's the source?" And the source is Nico Harrison. Nico's the one that said it on media day. So it's like you don't get that much in the NFL. No,
in the NFL, they would have been, "Oh yes, I am." Like they would have totally agreed with the GM. So because you can get cut at any time in the NFL. I mean, that's just what it is.
Well, everyone should go read Inside Victor Wembanyama's Summer of Transformation. I don't know why it's Transformation. Michael C. Wright, thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate you. Love the work you do. Glad you're at the Worldwide Leader again. And salute, man. Great stuff.
We'll try to get you fired a second time.
You don't get me fired again. Good to see you guys, though.
Appreciate you.
Well, Mark Cuban has inspired us, guys. Mark Cuban and his appearance on PTFO, learning that billionaires use new assistants, digital assistants. We've brought in a digital assistant here. His name's Chad.
Yeah, I mean, Mays does a lot of work. Obviously, he's producing not only Basketball Illuminati, but also he's producing Cinephobe, he's producing Pack Your Knives, and any other number of other properties that appear outside of the Count the Things network. So we decided maybe we should just get him some help. So Chad's here to be your support, Maze.
Yeah.
We asked Chad to produce an episode about the Sixers bringing back their mascot, Hip Hop.
I'm curious to see, will people like this more than what our actual segment was?
It's a good question, Tom.
That'd be funny.
This is for the sheeple. Wake up, sheeple. Chad is for the sheeple.
Chad.
Episode title, puzzle piece, The Resurrection of Hip Hop. What are the Sixers hiding?
In 2011, the Philadelphia 76ers killed off their mascot. They said it was time for a new era, new ownership, new image, no more 6-foot bunny with cornrows. But what if that wasn't the real story?
Wait, you tell me a 6-foot rabbit just vanishes? No funeral, no statement, no ashes, no nothing?
Maybe he's been hiding underground this whole time. You know, like a rabbit.
Okay, but seriously, what if the Sixers bringing hip hop back in 2025 isn't nostalgia? It's a cover up.
We don't deal in coincidences, folks. We deal in connections.
We are Basketball Illuminati.
Act 1, the official story. Officially, hip hop was quote unquote retired in 2011. The team said he didn't fit the new ownership's quote brand direction. They wanted a fresh start.
They said the same thing about Sam Hinkie.
4 years later, Franklin the dog shows up. You're telling me it takes 4 years to find a dog costume?
Exactly. What was happening during that mascot gap?
That's what I'm saying. You don't just retire hip hop. You erase them. You sanitize the image. You separate the Sixers from the Iverson era, from the cornrows to the tattoos, the do-rag, the sunglasses, real Philly.
They tried to replace hip-hop culture with the cartoon Labrador. That's poetic.
Act 2, the return.
That was a short act.
Yeah.
Chad, you got to beef these up, man. That's not an act.
Okay. Fast forward to today. The Sixers announced hip-hop's comeback for the 2025-26 season. The internet laughs, but the Illuminati investigates.
Why now?
Let's see. Embiid's injured again. The fan base is restless. The front office is in turmoil.
So they bring back a nostalgia act. It's not a mascot. It's a psyop.
Exactly. The classic distraction move. Don't look at our roster. Look at the bunny.
Bread and Circuses Wells Fargo edition.
The hell does that mean?
Yeah.
Is bread money, Chad?
Circuses.
Or is it literal bread?
Act 3, the symbolism. Let's analyze the design. So we got baggy shorts, sleeveless jersey, headband, and shades. This is big early 2000s energy.
Don't forget the do-rag. He's the embodiment of a cultural moment the league tried to suppress.
So the NBA kills them off when they're cleaning up their image. And now, when they need authenticity again, they bring him back. Isn't that convenient?
You guys know what this is, right?
What is it?
Marketing necromancy.
Wait, necromancy?
Yeah.
Dark magic.
Dark arts.
Well, think about it this way. Trust the process was all about belief. It was all about rebirth, resurrection. And now here comes hip hop, literally resurrected.
So you're saying hip hop is the process.
That's exactly how you'd say it, too.
Eerie chime sound effect. Okay. Act 4, follow the money. Hey, it's a league-wide trend. Look all across the 30 teams. The lesson? Nostalgia sells. Throwback jerseys, 2000s playlists, MySpace aesthetics.
So what if this isn't just the Sixers, right? What if it's an Adam Silver initiative? Maybe call it something like Operation Nostalgia.
Hip hop's TikTok account already has 1.2 million followers. This is data-driven resurrection.
Back in my day, we used to have mascots. You know what we got now? Influencers in fursuits.
And the algorithm is the new commissioner.
You can't spell mascot without scam.
Act 5, the pattern.
All right, so here we go. Let's line it up. 2011, hip hop retires. 2013, Sam Hinkie is hired. 2016, Trust the Process peaks. And then in 2025, hip hop returns.
Okay, I'm doing the math here. That's a 14-year cycle.
14 years. Same number as the lunar cycle squared.
Exactly. Moon, rabbit, rebirth. It's all there in the symbology.
So what you're saying is the Sixers planned this the whole time?
Tom, my poor, sweet, beautiful Tom. I'm saying the process never ended. It just put on bunny ears.
Closing. The truth is out there. All right, Illumination, ask yourself, where has hip hop been for 14 years? Why bring them back now? And most importantly,
who's inside that costume?
Until we see the unmasking, the conspiracy continues.
Remember, don't just watch basketball.
Watch basketball differently. Yeah.
Mysterious Illuminati theme plays.
Chad doesn't know our slogan, though. That's a little weird. Chad, you got to end every episode with keep your third eye open, buddy. That one's strong branding. We don't need your help on that.
Yeah, watch basketball differently is awful.
Let's all hold hands and rock back and forth and watch basketball differently.
Remember, don't watch basketball with just two eyes. Keep your third eye open.
Yeah, he's just like, I don't know where they're going with this.
I didn't think you needed me to say it in unison. Chad did not account for how difficult it is to say things perfectly in unison over video chat.
Yeah.
All right, Chad. I mean, solid debut. Made a lot of good points.